Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of CSB, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a very close friend of ours and also a member of our podcast. Please welcome Neil Karna. Today's episode is going to be directed by Neil. We're going to have a pretty casual but deep conversation. So, Neil, go ahead.
So I wanted to first of all talk about us being teenagers and how difficult it is nowadays. And the main thing right now for us to concentrate on is our academics. And there's been a lot of academic pressure, and it's difficult on many of us, and many of us don't know how to manage time, and gets difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that we're all starting 10th next week adds a little more extra pressure because I think the feeling of 10th grade boards and whatnot, slowly, like
It's
we can slowly feel the
pressure.
tension. Yeah, it's
I mean,
gonna
a
see.
lot of people say it's really, really tough. I don't know how it is. I mean, I've personally not been there, but a lot of people say that it's like a huge step from grade nine, even. But I thought grade nine was a huge step from grade eight, and I'm not sure what we're going to be going through this year.
I've spoken to many people and they're shitting bricks to do this stuff.
But
you know
funnily enough, I've heard mixed opinions on this. I've heard people who told me that 10th grade is the toughest thing in life, and I've heard people who said 10th grade is a bit overhyped, and they're just saying all of this will like scare you. So I don't know. We'll see in a bit.
and like nowadays, not and relating to this academic pressure, you're worried, like if you do bad this grade or this semester or whatever, you start thinking about your future and your career, and you are just like,
What do you
what do I
do?
do next? If I fail this, what's gonna happen? You're scared, and like it's tough.
I mean, it's good that our school has people who help us out with these things, with especially with career. We have career counselors, and we have, especially for mental health, we have people like Nisha ma'am, our counselor, help us out with this stuff.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does read.
yeah, and I think it's good that we're all getting to know about like how um, our studies are going to help us in the future. And that since we have a career counselor, how we're basically getting hit in the face by reality at a really young age. And I think obviously it has its pros and cons, but it helps you plan accordingly. And obviously, I know there are multiple people who still don't know what they're going to do exactly in life. But I think this reminder, as such, helps to plan. Uh, yeah, so that's basically it. So it helps people plan a bit ahead. So I just
What
find that really nice.
what I've heard a lot is that no matter what you plan, you're not going to go in the direction you always plan to go. You're going to go in some other direction. Like a lot of people have, they've trained to be doctors, they become lawyers, and they become engineers. I mean, you don't know where you're going in life. It's good to have a plan, but then at the same time, if you focus too much on that, then if you get stuck somewhere, you're not gonna find a way out of it.
So I don't think anybody else has interviewed or asked y'all, but like, what is your career plan as of now? And like, do you feel pressurized about it?
Keep going.
I mean,
Any of
if I
y'all
may,
can start.
I think for me, I've liked the commerce stream from the beginning. I mean, from sixth grade, I've known that I'm not a science guy. One, because it's extremely tough, and two, I just don't like sciences at all. And I really love business, especially. So I think commerce has always been there from the beginning for me, and I think I'm going to continue in commerce, and then I don't know. I have to decide what I'm going to major in later. But I think in from like the three fields of humanity, commerce, and science, I'm going to pick commerce.
Um, For me, I have no clue what I'm doing because it keeps changing every 3, 4 months. Like last year, I wanted to be a pilot. Now I want to be a lawyer, but I don't know where it's going to go. And that's why I don't want to plan too quick. But I definitely know that I'm not going to pick anything that has to do majorly with the sciences, just because, that area doesn't have a lot of, variety. So I'm looking at more of a commerce thing, which can help me in all aspects, most aspects.
I mean, in India, especially, I think the pressure for science also it's
It's
Very,
crazy,
yeah.
intense.
yeah.
So
So like if you
I
do,
would agree with y'all. I'm not much of a science student either, or much interest in science. I disagree that there are less career options, or there's a lot of variety of things in the science field. But for a lot of us, experiencing it, a lot of us feel that business or the commerce side is preferable. So even I can relate.
I mean,
I can
I think
understand if
there's
people
this very common misconception that commerce is easy or it's the easier option compared to sciences. But I mean, obviously, it's comparatively a bit easier, but that doesn't mean it's a cakewalk. It's obviously going to be extremely challenging and it's going to be extremely tough. But I mean, it comes down to a person's um, mentality, because I think if sorry not mentality, personality, if they're into doing a lot of research and doing something related to say marine zoology, obviously then I think the sciences is much better for them. And say someone who wants to start their own business or who wants to get into marketing, HR, and whatnot, I think for that, then I think commerce is obviously a much viable option for them.
Also,
to
commerce is a
lighten.
lot more, I think it's a lot more sustainable field because a lot of these science fields will be dying out soon, considering the way our world is going, the direction our world is going in. Marine biology is definitely, it was a very big interest for me, but now that I've heard that a lot of it is disappearing, it's not, I mean, it's still a passion, but it's not really, I don't see it as a career for me.
Right. Um, I have a point to make here. I think the reason, like, I completely agree with Moshe's point here that commerce or business as such is a very sustainable field. Because the thing is, for sciences, there are going to be people, or I feel robots will replace most of the jobs that they are doing in terms of software development and whatnot. Obviously, and in terms of the mechanical aspect too, there are going to be, and I think robots have already started replacing people's jobs. Whereas for the business aspect, obviously, there's a very good chance that the robots will take over and start like they start their own businesses. But I think the human aspect won't go out completely, and I think in terms of future wise, I think commerce is going to stay there for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
To lighten the topic, I'm going to be talking about, like, I wanted to know about influence, and like, since I feel like nowadays a lot of our lives revolve around social media, like Instagram, especially for us.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, what has Instagram influenced, or have you changed? If you've seen those reels, or saying I was like this before, now me now, and is there something happen like that, or a glow up per se?
Yeah, for sure. I think Insta's really impacted most of our lives a lot, and the pandemic and Insta have gone hand in hand because we were all sitting at home, and then obviously we saw a lot of videos, posts, reels, and whatnot where they showed how you can make yourself, or how you can be a better version of yourself, whether it comes to start working out, to building your fashion sense, to doing stuff that can help you build up your mentality, read. So there are so many things you can learn from Insta, and I think that's really impacted a lot of us, because I think most of us have gotten into the whole fashion thing, or at least we try to get into it and we try to dress better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Also,
go ahead.
Instagram has people's opinions, it's not blocking out anyone's opinions. So, there's a lot of differentiation of opinion, which is very healthy for an individual, as it shows contrast. And if you can argue in the section, you can argue anywhere, I think.
I mean, it's hilarious to see how two people who you have no clue, they're just, it's
Bro.
entertaining to say the least. So that's one. And, and the thing is, the reel or post or whatever or wherever you see the comment doesn't have such a it's not completely related to you, but it's still really nice to see how people are trying to share their opinions on public platforms now. And I think because of that, I think we also really get a new perspective as to say there's a issue going on right now and you have no clue about it, and you go and you see posts where people are giving you a lot of info about it, and obviously
There's a lot about business also in general. They talk about crypto and their investment, and there's a lot of influential people also over there who, and if you get to see it, then it's very helpful for your knowledge.
Also,
exactly.
Insta's one of the last places where you can truly be like a creator and have uh, genuine views from anyone. Now, YouTube has blocked that. If you've seen, they've removed the dislike count. They've implicated this thing. Uh, there are some YouTubers, in fact, I don't want to say their names. They like all the good comments of theirs so that people don't see the bad comments that they have in their posts, which is very, I mean, it's interesting, but it's not, ideal for an audience, you know.
Yeah, and the fact that YouTube removed the amount of dislikes you can
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
I mean, you can't really see
You
so
won't know if
that
video's good or bad
yeah.
now.
You don't know if
yeah,
they're telling you the truth.
yeah.
And we were speaking about the gym. G was speaking about the word gym earlier. I feel like honestly, if I'm being totally honest, my influence wasn't from Instagram. My influence was from Jeev,
Yeah.
because he literally had like a huge weight loss. We're like, what the hell? We didn't realize even that he lost that much weight until we had seen it. You know, he'd shown us photos. I was like, what? You were that fat before? Now you've become so fit. So, bro, I'm like, what the hell? And then all of our friends started like, bro, I'm doing deadlifts, 10 kg curls, and like, great things to hear from everybody.
I mean,
Yeah,
Instagram does keep that motivation going.
Exactly. There are reels and, posts and all also
I don't
influencing you.
think
So,
I'm speaking only for myself. FYP is just filled with, gym, people who like
it's just
bodybuilders
half
and
naked, just posing,
gym
bro.
rat.
It's
yeah.
hilarious. um, yeah. So, speaking on the whole For You page thing, recently, something that came on my For You page was make Insta again, where I saw multiple content creators posting this.
I've
So
heard
the
of that
thing,
too.
yeah. So the reason why I don't want that to happen is because the thing is, in India, obviously we don't have TikTok, right? Because the government banned it. So I think Insta has become TikTok now, because
Yeah.
especially for Indians, and I think because we're a billion people, I
Yeah.
don't think, or I don't see Insta shutting down reels anytime soon, because we actually make up a huge amount of the followers to the platform. So I don't see that happening. And I found that, uh, so I saw a couple of Indian influencers too saying that we should get it started to the way it was, where we were just posting photos. So I think I didn't really get that, and I just thought I'd share this with you guys. What are your thoughts on this?
I
I
I haven't come across any such thing. I mean, I personally haven't come across, but it's very,
Jenner posted this on her story too.
who?
Kylie Jenner,
Oh,
the
I unfollowed her for, I didn't want to see any of those kind of posts. No.
Jeev,
so
relating to
half
the point you made,
post, half women
Yeah.
post. Yeah.
Jeev, relating to the point you made, I agree with you because for us in India, we need also certain entertainment. Instagram's a really trustworthy app, and it has chats. You chat with people, you can watch your reels, you can watch your friends, you can watch stories. There's so much in that app. I personally would not want this to go away, and
Yeah, I completely agree.
yeah.
Another thing I'd like to talk about is so how there are these reels that are uh, to the sad type of stuff,
Yeah.
Emo.
emo, or as we call it. What are your thoughts on those videos? Yay or nay, good or bad?
I can say something. Some of them are, nowadays what we call cringe or get a weird feeling of. But some of them actually, if you look at what the person's trying to say, what they're trying to mean, actually makes sense. If you've ever been hurt in life or you've just felt like some pain, and these reels sometimes speak to you. I feel so. I'm kind of in the mixed position of how these reels are.
For me,
Yeah, there's at least one emo reel that we've all watched where we've related to it to some extent, but because we have deemed it as cringe, we choose
Bro,
or I choose
ones are
not to like it, and I just keep scrolling. I'm like, okay, yep, moving on.
bro,
So I
bro, the ones are the Indian TikTok wala, they're like, I'm a rider, provider. That is horrible, bro. Please don't bring that to Instagram also.
exactly,
if I am
bro.
bad,
Like,
if you are bad, then I am your dad or something.
Bro, that's
yeah.
rubbish, bro. So I
No,
like,
like I genuinely want to know who are the people who like these type of reels. Honestly, like let's meet them. Like we do a podcast with them. The entire time we'll not be questioning them. How can you like such reels?
and bro, speaking of these cringe reels, there are also like these boyfriend and girlfriends leaving each other, one's touching the other girl's hand. Like, bro, what's
Oh
wrong
my
with you?
God,
Oh,
I've seen.
yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Moving on to a slightly different topic, but staying on the whole influence thing. So men's grooming right now, especially for facial hair, haircuts, and whatnot. Yay or nay? Shaving before 18.
Yes, you should
Yeah,
do it right now, bro. A
yeah.
lot of people, you
Yeah,
know,
not
still
sure
have
if
a
the viewers
facial hair
noticed, but
and
I
facial
shave.
stuff.
I look like a 40-year-old baby. I don't like the way it looks, but hopefully it grows.
We move.
Pun intended. Hopefully it grows. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I'd like to make a comment on men's grooming before 18. I mean, I think it comes down to a person's like if they want to do it and they aren't comfortable with the way they look, then I think obviously there are some parents out there who are going to say, all right, no, you know what, I don't want my son to shave before 18 because it might spoil his skin and whatnot. Obviously, don't go right against your parents. Talk to them, explain to them why you want to do it. Maybe you're not comfortable with it, or maybe you want to look a bit different, or you want to look a bit better. So then speak to them and then try and convince them. Don't directly shave off and then show it to your parents and you will get shouted at. So just try and
Yeah.
ignore the whole conflict thing.
I mean, during our teen years is when we usually realize what we want. So, I mean, any kind of blocking or saying no to wanting that would be, I mean, it's not wrong. I'm not going to say it's wrong. It's just a little, um, I don't know how to put it without sounding controversial. Uh, yeah, you guys get what I'm
There's
saying.
one life you should remember. Controversial stuff gets us views. All right. Yeah. So go ahead.
Guys, I was also thinking about a question, and I was thinking, we were talking about mental health to a point also with those reels, and coming to that point, nowadays I feel like mental health is given much more awareness to, and but still there are a lot of people struggling with mental health, and there are some good coping ways and some horrible coping ways, or ways that you shouldn't go to, which are addictive. For example, drug abuse. People, I've heard a lot of stories about drugs being done in school, traded in school, and or even just drugs traded to teenagers, and the influence of smoking, vaping. It's really scary to see what's going to happen to the future if this is happening with mental health. If honestly, in my opinion, if you
You're
ask
gonna
me,
be like
if
some
you have a
thousand
mental health problem, please go to a
age of
therapist
40.
or talk to your friends.
Yeah.
Do not
Exactly.
resort to these other external substances. And yeah,
Obviously, talk
You
to
know,
the right people.
another coping mechanism for, say, your mental health's bad. I think one way to do it is to go on like a social media detox, because I think social media obviously it does have its pros and
and
cons.
yeah,
The thing is, sometimes, this is what I feel when you're scrolling through your 40 page, or you're looking at people's stories, and you see uh, like they're going out constantly. So it makes, so it reminds yourself that, oh, look, bro, you're not going out, you're a loner. So it really hits you hard. And I think sometimes just going off and taking like a mental break from social media can do really good stuff for you. But so, and it depends person to person. For some people, all they need is a day off, or all they need is one good conversation with someone who they can who they can vent out to. And I think they're completely good to go. And it takes some people maybe a month or a couple of months to recover from it. So that's another coping mechanism. And coming back to the drugs thing, I find it really sad to see so many people at such a young age um, start smoking, vaping, uh, drinking, and whatnot. So this is what A- Andrew Tate said, where he said, "Stop vaping, just breathe air." So I completely agree with him there. Although,
At this
in
point, the
spite
air
of
is
the
probably more
controversial stuff.
harmful.
Fair enough. Good point.
Yeah.
I don't have more to say though, but like Jeev, to that little bit I have, I do totally agree. And like, there are many forms of coping. The what you just gave is like a really simple one, and many people can follow it. You can do like your extracurriculars or hobbies like dancing, playing sports, or like
Going to the gym
get your mind
and
off.
journaling, two other coping mechanisms.
We go, Jim.
So, yeah, we go gym. Yeah, I think especially, or at least for most of my friends, I think recently, since we've all started working out, I think going to the gym is a very good coping mechanism, because it really helps, because obviously it helps you become fitter physically, and mentally you're also training yourself to be disciplined to go to the gym again and again, day after the
Also, you're
day,
getting more
even.
confident. You see yourself grow like
Yeah,
that. You're
exactly.
getting a lot more confident.
And but by the way, we aren't saying that you should go to the gym, and if you're fat, if you're thin, if you're skinny, whatever body type you have, we aren't saying you should go, but we're saying that it's a good coping mechanism to, if you have bad mental health. But so, and the gym, as I mentioned, it really builds your mentality to be disciplined, and that you can use in different forms of life, whether it comes to studying. So coming back to the whole school aspect, the moment you start going to the gym again and again, and you realize that, okay, you're disciplined enough to go to the gym without skipping it for no valid reason, you can apply the same thing to your studies. where you're going to continue to study and study and study to help you build your marks and increase your marks, which will then in turn help you get into good colleges, and then again in turn help you to get a good career which you like and are happy to do. So I just connected everything we've spoken about until now. It is one line.
Jeev was speaking about academics and since I'm a business student and I love business, I had done an internship over the summer, and I learned quite a bit about an exporting business. My uncle he is the owner of an exporting business who exports, goods to the Caribbean islands, as in clothing, caps, etc. So over that course, I've learned so much. And a lot of the time school doesn't teach you, as I was trying to say, that school doesn't teach you a lot of the things that real life teaches you, real life exposure. School only gives you that just bit of it, and also coming to that point, our school, for us personally, our school tries to give us as much relation to real life problems, so we have a exposure earlier, as Jeev had said. So that is a good thing, but I suggest, everybody else go and try do internships, or, figure out what you're going to do for the future.
Yeah, I think my Masi had told me this, I think a couple of months back, where she said she learned more in 3 weeks of going to office than what she's learned in her entire degree. So it just goes to show that obviously schooling does help. It teaches you the theory and background and basics of whether it's business, science, or whatever you pick. But it's the physical work you put in and talk to experts where you actually learn the most.
Yeah. Like school, yeah, again, as Jeev said, school is a lot about the theory part of it. But actually going out there and experiencing it yourself, it's a whole other, way of obtaining knowledge. Uh, Definitely school is very helpful in terms of, our basics, how to get our basics right. And then we go into our college and um, then our jobs, and then eventually our life. And, it's a whole lot of learning once you
Yeah,
get that.
I think one of the best feelings you could possibly go through is when you've learned something, whether it's in school or you've read something, and the moment you actually apply it or see it physically happen, and then your brain can instantly connect it, be like, oh shit, I learned this. This makes perfect sense now. And I think that's one of the best feelings that you can feel. So it's really nice to see, obviously. So it just goes to show that obviously school and doing research does help. It's not because I've seen multiple, coming back to the whole social media influence here. School is, or going to college is bad. You should directly get out from school and start your business, become a millionaire. So let's just go through it, man, and
Yeah.
then you will see how useful it is, obviously. And then, so I saw this meme once where it said, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs are all college dropouts. Um, and then it says, yeah, they're all college dropouts, but the dropouts from Harvard. So the level of brains that they have is huge. Really smart.
I think of it like, even I think we should just go through the process where, like, at least what most people do. And even if it did not come to enough use to you, it's fine. You're still learning from real life. At least you got to experience those times. Maybe you got to enjoy with your friends, or like have a good social life, and you can obviously learn more. It's every day. I believe that if you've not learned something new today, the day is just gone to waste. So
Yeah, I'm gonna live by that.
I remember this conversation, I think almost a couple of days back, and what he said really did change my whole perspective of how I go through my day now. Now, like throughout my day, my one goal is to learn at least one thing. even if it's a small thing, big thing, obviously the bigger the thing you learn, the better.
The
But
most satisfied
it's a
you are.
small thing. Yeah. So like, because then it makes you feel like you've spent the day well, and it really I know boosts your confidence, and you're looking forward to learning about something new the next day.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Yeah, so I think that's all we have in store for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, follow us on our socials. It's linked below.
Just do it.
Thank you. Yeah.
And if we don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for watching.